Hi there, my name is Lo. Welcome to my channel where I discuss everything between Hermes and grocery bags. The last 2 weeks of August of this year I was on a work trip in San Francisco. I was also there last year and I did it completely different in terms of travel because then I decided to travel only with hand luggage because the lines at Schiphol airport were crazy and I didn't want to miss my flight, so I had to compromise quite a bit on what I was taking. Also, last year I was in a different hotel than this year, so that prompted me to make some different choices. And today I just wanted to run you through the bags that I took, what was working well, what other choices I may have made instead, and some other perhaps somewhat unexpected things that I found super helpful or actually a complete waste of space in my bag. So let's get started. Well, last year I was traveling with hand luggage only and I took on board a trolley and a shoulder bag. This year I was actually traveling with a really big suitcase. So the limitation was really not the space in my suitcase, but rather that I could only bring 23 kilos or about 70 pounds of check-in luggage. So just to be on the safe side, I didn't really want to overload my check-in luggage and I decided to bring some things on board with me as well. So what I decided to travel with on the airplane is this Eastpak backpack, and I think this was in fact a really good choice. I'm actually not really sure which model this is and if it's still available because I got it on an outlet website at some point in time, which is perhaps also the reason it is in a bit of a funky color. It's like a mustard, but it was a really nice backpack to have with me on the airplane. It has a number of compartments, so like 4 I would say on the outside. So it has this fairly large compartment which then, if you open it up, also comes with a laptop slot. So I stuck my laptop and my iPad in there. So this is a pretty spacious compartment. Then it has this other more narrow compartment. This is where I stuff my neck pillow and my noise cancelling headphones for the flight. Super important. And then there's 2 compartments here on the front. Here I just put some smaller things in, like my power bank, that kind of stuff. And then it also even has this compartment over here, which I think I kind of left empty. What is also nice that it has a compartment on the side which you can actually even open up if you like. So I stuck a small water bottle in there. I just always bring an empty bottle and fill it up after security. This bag also has straps on the side. These are fixed. These come with a clasp, but it does allow you to compress the backpack. There's even this pocket on the back over here, which is really secure, but actually I didn't use that. The back is padded, the straps are padded, really comfortable. It also comes with these binders here at the front, so it is really like a heavy load, heavy duty type of backpack. I had to stand in line for quite some time and this backpack was quite heavy, so I was glad it was comfortable. Initially I was thinking of just bringing one backpack, which I could also use as a backpack for work. This backpack, I could have worn it, but it is really big. So what did I actually end up bringing as a work bag? Well, again, it was an Eastpak bag. I mean, frankly, I have to say that I do really quite like Eastpak. This was the brand that I grew up with and that I was wearing during secondary school. And just to see how those bags have been holding up like some 20 odd years later, you can still sell me up on a good Eastpak bag at any time. Again, I'm not sure what this model is called. I will try to see if I can find it and link it down below in the description box. I think they call it the shopper bag or something with shopping. So it actually has this double top handle that you can tie or untie. In style, it is fairly similar to the Fjällräven Kanken bag. That was actually a contender to go on this trip. I think eventually I opted for this one. First of all, because it is in a dark blue, and my Kanken backpack that is more of like a brick color. I figured this would be a little bit more complementary to the outfits I was bringing. I also chose this one because this does have the padded straps. And even though the Kanken backpack has like a place that you can put a laptop in, this backpack also has a decent padded compartment to stuff your laptop, and a laptop, a water bottle, and just a pouch with my stuff, and a couple of items here in this front compartment, just some bits and bobs. That was the only thing I was pretty much carrying. So was this a good pick? I mean, it was not a bad pick. I chose to bring a backpack because last year I only had a 5-minute walk to the office from my hotel, and this year I had a 20-minute walk, and I figured that a shoulder bag was just gonna be too heavy on my shoulder and too inconvenient. But I think in hindsight I could have pretty easily opted just for a shoulder bag, because I do like the aesthetics of a shoulder bag more, definitely more. There were a couple of days where I was wearing pretty stylish dresses, if I may say so, and then walking around with a backpack, that just kind of makes me feel like a preschooler. And I think that India from Bags and Lifestyle said the same thing in a video I was watching from her a couple of weeks ago. Backpacks are the epitome of practicality, but then one way or the other it also kind of goes against the aesthetics that I usually go for. So I just didn't really like wearing a backpack for 2 weeks straight. Also, of course, there is the aspect of security. This is a fairly secure backpack, and I didn't put anything of significant value in the front compartment, but I still think that if I'm wearing a shoulder bag, I just feel my stuff under my arm and I don't really think about it, while with the backpack it is still out of sight, and even though it doesn't really feel insecure, it is on my mind that I have my backpack on my back and that I cannot really see whether somebody is trying to get into my bag. Definitely not a bad choice, but I might just opt for carrying a shoulder bag if I am to make another trip like this. There was, however, one backpack that I did really like, and that came actually as a bit of a surprise to me on multiple levels. It is this anti-theft backpack that I got off AliExpress. I don't recall exactly what I paid for it, but it was definitely not more than $5. So as you can see, it's all just smooth from the front. It is this sort of nylon-y material. It is quilted, which I thought was actually pretty cool. It has these side pockets. Just for context, we also had 2 weekends in San Francisco, and 3 out of those 4 days we just went out of the city, rented a car, for example, or went on a hike. And because I knew we were going to do quite a bit of walking, that's one of those occasions where I do feel like, okay, I'm gonna be dressed casually. A backpack is going to be a perfectly fine option for me. It has this kind of hidden compartment on the back, which really does give a lot of space. So some of the few reasons why I was really pleasantly surprised by this is, first of all, that it was much better crafted than I had thought. The finishing is not perfect, but for this one I was actually pretty surprised with the quality. Like, there's even a little bit of structure here in the base, and I wasn't really sure how this hidden zipper was going to work, if it was going to be secure enough, if it was going to annoy me, because you do obviously have the zipper running over your back, but that was all perfectly fine. So that was really great. On our days out, I didn't have to worry really at all about somebody trying to get into my backpack. And yeah, the straps don't have any padding or anything, but they are still quite wide. With the amount of stuff that I was carrying in this backpack, frankly, it was pretty comfortable. I will try to link this one or something similar down below. And then on to the last bag that I used absolutely every day of my trip, one way or the other. And it's this sort of multi-pouch bag from the brand Lancaster. For me, this is really an ultimate and also like exclusive travel bag. I generally don't really like this aesthetic of bag, and then I don't per se mean the multi-pouch style of it, but generally I don't really like the aesthetic of things that have a top zipper and not a top handle, if that makes sense. So I always feel like bags either need to have a top handle or a flap, but this is just so immensely practical that for the sheer practicality of it, I really loved wearing it every day. So this whole thing can be taken apart, so you can take the strap off, you can take the pouches apart, but by the fact that all of these elements could be taken apart from one another, and that I also brought an additional chain strap that was like shoulder length, I've really used this bag in every possible way. So I've worn it just like this in its totality. I've worn a big pouch with both straps, I think, when I needed a bit more capacity, but not like with the small pouch together. And when I was going to work, I just put all of my valuables and my essentials, like my passport, my phone, my wallet, that kind of stuff. I put that in the small pouch, just tossed the small pouch in my bag, got home, needed to go to a restaurant to eat, took out the pouch, put a chain strap on, and without having to move all of your stuff around, you're basically good to go in 5 minutes time. You could also just stuff these pouches with items as you're traveling. You could put one in the other if you want to save space. Just the versatility of this item is immense, and if you can only take one bag or take a couple of bags when you are traveling, I really love that you can still create so much variety within one bag and wear it in multiple ways. The canvas is also lightweight, it is carefree. I think this particular style is going to be hard to find. This is again something that I think I just got somewhere off an outlet website. Of course, if you want to go for a more fancy version of this, you could go for the Louis Vuitton multi-pochette. I think that a lot of brands, both luxury, contemporary, but also high street type of brands, do these kinds of bags. Even though I would generally not wear this style, I absolutely just love it for travel. And because I use this each and every single day for 2 weeks in a row, this is probably going to be my most used bag, not only for the summer, but just for the whole year. Then to just briefly touch upon some other stuff that I took that I found either quite helpful or really kind of a waste of space in my bag or in my suitcase. So 3 things that I really enjoyed having with me this year was, first of all, packing cubes. Because I was using quite a big suitcase, it didn't really have any nice compartments on its own, and I didn't want to have all of my stuff flying around. So that's definitely something I could recommend. The second thing that I brought this year that I was super happy about was probably my most supportive and comfortable pair of sneakers, which for me is the Adidas Ultra Boost. I'm not sure if they're going to be the best sneakers for everyone, but for me it was just really great. I did bring some other shoes, but I walked so much when I was there, and on any type of comfortable shoe you can only do so many steps. It's not going to get you through the day, it's not going to pull you beyond those 10k steps or 15k. I think one day we did 24k, so it was really just such a relief to have comfortable sneakers with me, so that when I started to feel that my other shoes were not offering me the support that I needed anymore, that I could just change into other shoes and kind of have like a fresh start, if that makes sense. I was just really glad that I brought something that gave me the support to keep on walking. And then the last thing I brought, which was like super convenient and I didn't think of it last year, and it was a USB charger for my electric toothbrush. In Europe there's a different voltage than in the United States or in North America, and I found that with most of my appliances or most of my chargers it was not really an issue. So like not for my MacBook or for my phone, but my electric toothbrush charger, that was one of the few things that couldn't go on the US voltage. So that's definitely something I'm gonna bring along if I'm ever again traveling someplace that has a different voltage, because I did find that this was one of the few exceptions of things I could not easily charge abroad. Speaking of charging, I do have the plug converters, but that turned out to be a complete waste of space in my suitcase. My hotel room was equipped with so many USB ports, even USB-C, that had super fast charging, that I don't think I used any of my plugs. I just used cables. Another category of things that I brought but that I didn't really use or that I didn't really like need to use were sort of my reusable items. I brought a number of water bottles. I had a reusable foldable canvas tote for like groceries or shopping or whatever, and I even brought cutlery with me. I think that I brought these things because it's quite common in the Netherlands to not use single-use plastics or just things anymore. You will often see that stores replace these things then with paper, but I've just kind of made it a habit that if I go out the door for a longer time, I will bring my own bottle of water. If I go shopping, grocery shopping, or shopping of some other kind, I will just bring my own bag. If I order out food, I don't get any cutlery with it. And I'm definitely not trying to say that there's a lot of use of plastic in San Francisco, but I did find that they make use of quite a lot of recyclable alternatives. So the hotel actually gave me a recyclable water bottle. There was filtered water within the hotel. Whenever we would go shopping, we were basically always given a paper bag. And then also when it came to the cutlery, whenever I was taking out food, there were either utensils on the location that you could use to eat it, or utensils would just be handed to me. Sometimes you go somewhere and you bring things because you think they are going to make you more comfortable. Luckily, these were all fairly small items. It was more of a generic reminder for me that I shouldn't overpack. So yeah, that was kind of my summary of the bags that I took on my work trip, the items that were helpful or not so helpful while I was traveling. Let me know if you have any tips for me or for other viewers in terms of what you like to take when you are going on a work trip, which can be kind of different from going on a regular vacation. Remember, for now, there's a styling, a situation, and a taste for everything, so don't judge, wear whatever the bag you like. Until next time, or as we say in Dutch, doei!